Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Good evening. My name is Wadzanai Sansole and you're watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime, channel 294 on DSTV. These are your headlines tonight. SADC and EAC leaders met today as they intensify efforts to usher peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo. President Mnangagwa, who is also the SADC chairperson, called on the two blocs to address the root cause of the conflict. That story coming up here on Newsplus. We give you the latest on the burial of national hero Victor Kuretu, which is slated for tomorrow at the National Shrine, with President Mnangagwa expected to preside over the event. Stay tuned on the latest on road accidents which occurred during the Heroes Holiday, with police expressing concern at the high number of crashes recorded this year. And in sport, Chigumbura Cricket Festival roars to life. We now take a closer look at the stories making the headlines this evening. President Emmerson Mnangagwa, in his capacity as SADC chairperson, has urged the Southern African Development Community and the East African Community to address the root causes of the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He was speaking during a virtual joint SADC-EAC Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government held today.
The conflict in the DRC has been raging for 3 decades now. Millions have been displaced, thousands killed, and dozens injured. According to the United Nations Human Rights Office, at least 319 civilians were killed in northern Kivu province between the 9th and the 21st of July this year. Leaders in the SADC and EAC regions have been engaged in concerted efforts to silence the guns in the DRC. Today's virtual joint SADC-EAC Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government is the latest of efforts by leaders to usher peace in the war-torn country. In his address, President Mnangagwa, who is the SADC chair, called for unity, coordinated action and decisive measures to address the underlying drivers of instability and to restore peace and foster development in the eastern DRC.
Under the auspices of the AU Commission, should work in unison with all parties towards addressing the root causes of the conflict, as well as in support of humanitarian efforts.
He also revealed that the Nairobi and Luanda peace processes have now been merged following his meeting with Kenyan President William Ruto earlier this month.
We can be proud as SADC and EAC that the Luanda and Nairobi processes have been successfully merged as per the desire and the resolution of our joint summits.
East African Community Chairperson Kenyan President William Ruto noted that the two regional blocs have developed key operational documents in consultation with the African Union Commission to guide the merged peace efforts.
President Mnangagwa and I have agreed to merge the EAC, SADC and AU structures into one unified Africa-led initiative in order to enhance coordination and harmonization of the peace processes in the Eastern DRC.
The virtual summit brought together leaders including Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema, Rwandan President Paul Kagame, DRC President Felix Tshisekedi, and South Sudanese President Salva Kiir Mayardit. The meeting focused on finding common ground to resolve the security crisis in eastern DRC following directives from the second joint EAC SADC summit earlier this year. Reporting from State House in Harare, Iben Mabunda for ZTN Prime.
Now, the burial of the late national hero Victor Panganai Kuretu has been scheduled for tomorrow at the National Heroes Acre, with President Mnangagwa expected to preside over the solemn occasion. Kuretu was declared a national hero last week in recognition of his contributions to the liberation struggle and post-independence development. Now, he was a veteran nationalist and community leader who passed away on August 7th at St. Anne's Hospital in Harare after a short illness at the age of 83. He is survived by his wife Rita, 11 children, and 34 grandchildren. The ZANU-PF Women's League Secretary for External Affairs, Betty Kaseke, reflected on how they related with the late hero.
Comrade Kuretu igamba tirikunzwa kurwadziwa zvakanyanyisa semusangano weZANU-PF noti tarasikirwa nechinhu chikuru nemunhu mukurusa chaizvo kunyanyanyanya muno muzone 3 rinova ndiro zoni ravakatangira politics dzavo. He was one of my elders edu mumusangano wedu weZANU-PF ndo vakava vari pangamazano wedu kuno. Isusu politics tichitangawo tiri vadiki takangowana vana Comrade Kuretu varipo vachibva vatifundisa politics kusvikira tasvika patiri apa. Taiziva kuti kana pane zvinenge zvanetsa kana pane zvinenge zvarema taienda kwavari baba vedu.
In other news, government has approved the National Youth Empowerment Strategy that's aimed at creating an enabling environment for promoting youth participation in the mainstream formal economy. Now, the strategy, which is to cover the period from 2026 to 2030, aims to economically empower youths through job creation. And speaking today during today's post-cabinet briefing, Information Minister Dr. Jen Van Muswele said the strategy will also serve as an implementation tool for the National Development Strategy 2 through mainstreaming of youth issues in the National Development Agenda.
The strategy recognizes both youth in school and out of school, aligning with existing Ministry of Youth programs that cater for both segments. The National Youth Empowerment Strategy comprises of 5 main pillars, namely economic empowerment, technology and digital transformation, education and skills development, governance, and health and well-being. There are also 3 supporting cross-cutting pillars, and these are climate change adaptation and mitigation, gender equality and inclusivity, and governance, coordination, and partnerships. Under each pillar, the strategy document provides details on the strategic objectives and suggested interventions that will be employed in order to attain the set pillars.
Now, the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Torerai Moyo, said government is prioritizing construction of schools across the country to surpass the deficit under the Human Capital Development pillar of National Development Strategy 1. And responding to a question and answer session during the post-cabinet briefing, the minister said the government is seized with massive infrastructural development in schools across the country.
One key area we are prioritizing is the school construction. We are seized with that matter. In 2022, we had a deficit of 3,000 schools, but we have seen many schools mushrooming in both urban and rural areas. But we are mainly focusing on the marginalized areas, the underprivileged rural areas.
Now, Cabinet has approved the amendment of the Zimbabwe Family Planning Council Act to enhance effectiveness and relevance by aligning it with the current realities in reproductive health, particularly addressing the needs of adolescents and youth. And this was revealed by the Minister of Health and Childcare, Dr. Douglas Mombeshora, responding to questions during today's post-cabinet briefing. He said the name will change to Zimbabwe National Population Planning since the current act doesn't deal with non-communicable diseases.
The act which is currently existing does not really address the issue of adolescents and young people. It does not involve men in the population planning. So the new amendments should be inclusive, and we would want to concentrate more on adolescent health, adolescents and youth.
Now, in other news, the Zimbabwe Republic Police has reported alarming road accident statistics during the recent Heroes and Defence Forces holidays, with a total of 196 road traffic accidents recorded over a long holiday weekend, marking a significant increase from 149 accidents reported during the same period last year. Now, the accidents resulted in 24 fatalities and 96 injuries. And according to Commissioner Paul Nyati, who attributes the rise in accidents to reckless driving and negligence by motorists, emphasizing the importance of adhering to road rules and regulations to curb the continuous loss of lives through road traffic accidents. He shared this earlier today during a briefing on the Heroes and Defence Forces Holidays Traffic Report.
This year, a total of 196 road traffic accidents were recorded compared to 149 in the year 2024. 24 people died this year compared to 16 in the year 2024. The number of people who were injured this year, we have 96. Last year we had 77. And the statistics indicated that most of the accidents, they involved the pedestrians who were either struck by motorists trying to cross the road or standing on the edges of the road.
Now, Harare Mayor Jacob Mafume has once again moved in to assure residents that the city's tap water is safe to drink, despite mounting concerns over its quality. Some residents say the water has an unusual smell and is at times visibly dirty, eroding public trust and pushing away many to turn to boreholes for drinking water.
The debate over Harare's water quality is once again resurfaced, this time around after a wave of complaints from residents. Many say what comes out of their taps is not only discolored, but has a strong smell, raising doubts over its safety.
pasi dzinonga zvagara pasi apa uratidza kuti hainwiki inonuhwa kungoisa pamuromo chako kana kugeza nayo miri chaiko chaiko unongotoshinga pani mvura ine hwema usingaite ingatadza kuita hwema sei kumasoji ese ari munomo ese ari kudzika ikoko.
Most residents now rely on bore water.
Makatigona makatisiro bore water haikanzuru mapaipi aora mamita acho acharidha zvese inenge ngone tsvina inenge nengura ukakombeya iyi for example ukatora yepabhoho ukaisa apa wotora ikanzuru woisa apa unoona ikanzuru inoita zvimwe zvinhu setila pasi after kana 5 minutes.
Harare Residents Trust Director Precious Shumba says residents are living in fear of contracting diseases as a result of the dirty water and no longer trust the city's supply.
We are not yet convinced that there is a concrete and sustainable plan to improve the quality of water. What we are seeing are stopgap interventions which have not been well coordinated. The residents continue to complain about a visible sediments in the water. Sometimes it is greenish, brownish in color, and a lot of residents don't have the confidence to consume water delivered by the city.
However, Harare Mayor Jacob Mafume says residents have nothing to fear, insisting that the water meets safety standards after treatment.
We need to be open about the quality of our water, and I do think that it is something that we should be able to open to the public.
Despite the mayor's assurances, public trust remains low. A recent survey revealed that many residents still prefer alternative sources, especially boreholes, citing fears of waterborne diseases. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Talent Kori in Harare.
Now, when Newsplus returns, we'll give you more updates on our local stories.
The Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Advocate J.F.N. Mudenda, President of the Senate, Honorable M.M. Chinomona, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable T. Gezi, the Deputy President of the Senate, Lieutenant General Retired M.R. Nyambuya, members of the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders, members of Parliament, the Clerk of Parliament, Mr. K.M. Chokuda, and staff of Parliament join His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of our Defence Forces, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the nation at large in extolling the men and women of our avowed Zimbabwe Defence Forces, ZDF. On this momentous day, it is a time to pause and relish the ZDF's unshakable resolve, rugged tenacity and unwavering dedication to protecting the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Their steadfast commitment has guaranteed the peace and security the nation enjoys today by safeguarding our hard-won freedom, democracy and independence. The ZDF Day and Heroes Day celebrations are inextricably linked, drawing inspiration from the bravery and sacrifices of the nation's liberation heroes and heroines. It is therefore important for all Zimbabweans to cherish this national responsibility of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces. The ZDF has over the years evolved remarkably into a professional, disciplined force attuned to the contemporary needs of Zimbabwe's defence ecosystem, particularly in today's complex security landscape. Additionally, their philanthropic commitment to community development is exemplified through initiatives like the annual Community Week during peace times. Effectively instructive and dovetailing with the benevolent work of the ZDF is the 2025 theme, Zimbabwe Defence Forces, guaranteeing peace and stability for the attainment of Vision 2030. This theme is epitomized by community-centered projects such as the completion of the girls' dormitory at No Emission in Macheke, an early childhood development classroom block at Gillingham Primary School, and a modern double-story classroom block at Warren Park 6 Primary School. Such philanthropy underlines the ZDF's dedication to leaving no one and no place behind, in tandem with His Excellency President Mnangagwa's national vision of inclusive growth and development. Happy ZDF Day, Zimbabwe. ZDF, a force par excellence. Makorokoto Amhlope. Long live defenders of our territorial integrity and sovereignty. Parliament of Zimbabwe, a strong, independent, people-driven, world-class parliament. A SARS ISO 9001 2015 certified organization.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus and we're coming to you live from Harare. Now, still on our top stories, Zimbabwe has received 100,000 doses of vaccines from the World Organization for Animal Health to advance the ongoing vaccination program aimed at eradicating dog-mediated rabies. This initiative is targeting to administer 600,000 doses around selected hotspots in the country, and the donation will play a crucial role in accelerating this goal.
The donation comes at a time the government has enrolled a dog vaccination program, which will prioritize big cities and hotspot areas. Currently, the country has 256,000 available vaccines, with a target to administer 600,000 doses. The donation will play a critical role in closing this gap. The consignment was received by the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Davis Marapira, who believes the donation will go a long way.
100,000 rabies vaccines will go a very long way in reducing the risks of rabies in Zimbabwe. And I would recommend, through my ministry, the Department of Veterinary Services, to make full use of the vaccines.
The donation was handed over by the sub-regional representative for the World Organization for Animal Health, Motapele Letswenyo, who held Zimbabwe for proper utilization of the rabies vaccines donated by the organization in 2019. He further explained the significance of Zimbabwe's membership to the institution, citing that it has motivated the latest donation.
So as this token of appreciation for this good collaboration and good membership of the country, we are here to donate 100,000 doses of rabies vaccine to the country. This is also motivated by the fact that in 2019, we donated another similar amount, 110,000 that time, which was used very well.
Rabies, a preventable but deadly disease that claims nearly 59,000 lives globally each year, remains a serious public health threat in Zimbabwe. Chief Director for Veterinary Services, Pius Makaya, is convinced the donation will advance the country's goal to complete the vaccinations during the August holiday and control human cases of rabies.
But if we manage to vaccinate 70% or more of our dog population, we know that we've controlled the disease in dogs. And our target is to make sure that the dog-mediated rabies is controlled by 2030. In short, we wouldn't want to see any human cases of rabies as a result of being bitten by a rabid dog.
The donation will not only accelerate the country's efforts to improve healthcare in animals and control this disease, but it will also help reach the world target of eradicating dog-mediated rabies by 2030. For ZTM Prime, I am Satashi Siwagwaza.
And in other news, the Ministry of Agriculture has partnered with the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa to develop an investment program aimed at transforming the agriculture sector. The Zimbabwe Legacy Program will delve into the 7 value chains and is set to be pitched in Dakar, Senegal, at the African Food Summit in the first week of September. And speaking on the sidelines of a validation workshop, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Professor Obed Jiri, said that 6 countries are set to pitch their legacy programs, and the event is part of strategies to validate the investment plan and transform the sector.
And we have been fortunate to partner with the AGRA, which is an African organization, which has helped us to develop an investment strategy and program, which we call the Zimbabwe Legacy Program. So this is why we are here. We have looked at our value chains, and this particular program will look at 7 value chains, including maize, dairy, beef, and blueberry, which we will pitch those to ensure that we can attract investment into our agricultural sector. Despite all our challenges environmentally, climate change wise, we still need to grow the sector, and this is why we have developed this legacy program, which will be pitched in Dakar at the African Food Summit in Dakar in the first week of September.
Newsplus will be right back.
The Ministry of Local Government and Public Works is urging all government employees residing in ministry-owned residential properties to come forward with feasible payment plans to settle outstanding lease rentals and property purchase balances. The ministry has noted with great concern a significant number of lessees have defaulted on their lease payments, resulting in growing arrears. In accordance with Part 5, Section 12 of the Public Finance Management Act, and Section 49(2) of the Public Finance Management Treasury Instructions 2019, accounting officers are mandated to manage public revenue efficiently and ensure all government debts are collected promptly. To support recovery efforts and give tenants a fair opportunity to regularize their accounts, the ministry is offering a grace period up to 30 September 2025 for affected individuals to approach the ministry and submit realistic and acceptable payment plans. Failure to comply within the stated timeframe will result in the cancellation of lease agreements in accordance with Section 22 of the signed Memorandum of Agreement without further notice. All affected tenants are advised to contact Mr. C. Gova, Chief Accountant, Revenue, on 0773 794 323 or 0714 150 141, 16th floor, Mokwati Building. The ministry urges all relevant parties to take this notice seriously and act promptly to avoid further action. For media inquiries, please contact Communications and Advocacy Department, Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, or email comsandadvocacy1@gmail.com, or call +263 0242 703 502 or 0712 807 566.
Thank you for staying tuned to Newsplus. Now, commuter omnibus drivers and conductors have turned Harare's streets into a veritable warren where they hunt for passengers anyhow, anywhere, and in any direction on the street. There is a common statement that says combi drivers seem to have been birthed by the same person. But has anyone ever studied what exactly goes on in their minds? Now, we spoke to a few of them and we got a feel of what actually happens in their lives. In the midst of the chaos, they keep the city moving. Behind the wheel, they face a daily battle against time, traffic, and tempers. They are the masters of the urban jungle, navigating the crowded roads to get people where they need to go. Though the coming in of associations has brought in some order, many still view them as rough and reckless after unpleasant commuting experiences. But what actually influences their behavior? We spoke to Paul Mabutsu, a 19-year veteran of the industry, who says the pressure to make ends meet and uncertainty of the next day weighs heavily on their shoulders. This sense of desperation, where every minute counts, triggers a survival instinct that disregards the law and overrides safety concerns.
Unenge wakuedza kunzvenga nemari nekuda kwekuti murungu ari kudawo mari. Ukaramba uchingonoripota ndazosungwa mari yaenda nezvakati uye ari mubusiness haachazvinzwisisi iwo ndounopedzisira waluza basa saka pekupedzisira ndozonoti ndakutombotizawo nemari iwo.
The stress of the job, combined with sleep deprivation, has resulted in some turning to drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism.
Pane vagara vakadaro kuzotiwo vamwe vanotaura kuti nepuresha iri kubva kumurungu neinobvawo pakusungwawo kwatinoitwawo nechaibasa redu. Mumwe munhu anofunga kuti ari kuda kujambawo kunzvengawo izvozvo kuti zvisanyanyise kumurwadza.
And on a lighter note, why they always blast music so loud in their office. Despite all this, they still uphold their combi culture to the very last day, something displayed at funerals of one of their own. Now meet Shadrach, a conductor, Windy Inshona, from Rizende rank, who says despite their tough exterior, they do show acts of kindness, which they feel is often overlooked.
Isusu like muna basa redu ratinoita iri vabereki vamwe vangogara vari negative attitude but kutori nemamwe mawindi ari right, especially maregular customers edu akatouya neproblem yekuti nhasi handina mari vandoda kuenda kutauni togona kutomutakura just for free chero kumudzosera kumba kana vana vechikoro mostly togona kungomutigara pakadoma usingabhadhari.
They too wish the public saw them in a different light, which is why they give into the pressure from late commuters at times.
Munhu anopinda iye anenge aizwa ndi kutanga basa na 8 apinda kana na 12 to 8 akune traffic utiwo chamariri time dzangu izvozvi ndosvika basa ndoda kumhanya ndoda kudii apa pane traffic ndo pamunozoona like mamadrivers they end up vakukanganisa vakuenda kana against wari way munhu unorwa pavement because wakupuwa pressure nevabereki.
Chinamira, hanging onto the back of moving combis, is not for fun, but a means to get home.
Unoona kuti chiwindi chokupa chimwe chimweya chechivingi chokuti chiro zvazvi zvatoita because basa chedu pane pekuti unomuka kana uchirara nailefi saka kana nguva nevana unongosina saka you end up muzwa psychologically unenge wakutongoti chiro zvazvaita.
Most had different expectations for their lives, but end up here for lack of options. Be that as it may, the police maintain that the law is the law.
In relation to the psychology of combi drivers, the issue of them, the drivers, going through road robots because they are running away from police officers, is that a valid reason? Them to justify illegal activities? No. The law is the law.
And psychologists in the traffic department say a mix of social influences and personal circumstances contribute to why they think and behave the way they do.
These combi drivers go through a lot, be it socially, be it psychologically, and even physically.
At the end of the day, they're not just combi drivers or conductors. They too are people with a story to tell and a role to play in society. Now, as much as their actions may have raised concern, paying attention to their humanity and recognizing it may be one step closer toward finding possible solutions and creating a compassionate community. Wazanai Sansole, ZTN Prime. Now, Dr. Richmond Kokera is a psychologist and lecturer in the Department of Applied Psychology at the University of Zimbabwe. His PhD thesis looks into the behavioral patterns of combi drivers. He now joins us live to share further insights on this subject. Good evening, Dr. Kokera. Now, combi drivers all seem to have a similar character. What does this say about their identity?
For them, they are not angry. They are just normal people, you know. When they drive, they want to dominate, to dominate other drivers, to dominate private operators. So it brings about the issue of dominance or masculinity. It borders on a behavior that has become symbolic to them.
Now, Dr. Kokera, seeing that conversations around combi drivers seem to be going on for so long, and this type of behavior has also been influencing other motorists, what possible solutions should be considered?
So I think the best approach to intervene is to target at the core causes of aggressive driving. And I have already mentioned that the social and normative pressure are very important, the social environment. So we are also considering to do interventions that target peers, you know. We choose peer drivers, what we would call ambassadors of driving safety, train them so that this can cascade to other drivers. That's targeting the social environment. From the studies, we also noticed that there is need for better and consistent enforcement. Yes, so where fines mean really fines. So if you pass through a road robot or you run a road robot, then you should face the law. The environment itself, there is need for overall, you know, infrastructure improvement. Some of these things are already happening, but because bad roads, narrow roads encourage bad driving. So that intervention will be very, very, very helpful.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kokera, for shedding more light on the psychological behavior of combi drivers. We now continue with our news from beyond our borders. Now, the family of the late former Zambian president has filed an appeal to challenge the Pretoria High Court order to repatriate the body of Edgar Lungu to his country for burial. Last Friday, Pretoria High Court Judge Aubrey Ledwaba said the Zambian government was entitled to repatriate the body of the late president and ordered his family to immediately surrender it to authorities. However, in an application to appeal filed by Mashele attorneys on Tuesday, the family said the court erred in its findings and ignored Lungu's wish to be buried in South Africa. The family further states in the appeal that their decision to bury the former president in South Africa is based on the guarantees given by the Zambian government that they will not deviate from the undertakings or betray the trust of the family and the wishes of Lungu. And still on our foreign stories, a United Nations affiliated delegation, the Elders for Peace, has visited Egypt's Rafah crossing to assess the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza and Al Arish General Hospital, where injured Palestinians are being treated. The delegation was led by former Irish President Mary Robinson and former New Zealand Prime Minister Helen Clark. Footage shows the delegation, which includes members from UNICEF, WFP and WHO, at the crossing alongside personnel from the Egyptian Red Crescent and entering Al Arish Hospital.
But we are here to speak truth to power, nothing else. We are here to look at the facts, to understand, and we are appalled at the visual sight of such food piled up, so many vital materials, medicine piled up and not able to have access. And then on the other side, an unfolding famine. It is unconscionable. And many of their staff have been killed over the months of this terrible, appalling situation. So it's good that we were able to come. It's hard to really take in the appalling disconnect between what should be happening and must begin to happen and what is blocked deliberately from happening. It is really, as I said, unbearable.
Now, students and graduates from the Faculty of Arts, University of Khartoum, have launched a national volunteer initiative to restore and renovate some of the most prestigious academic buildings in Sudan amid the ongoing civil war and get people learning once again. Organizers said it was about shaping a future that is worthwhile for the students, teachers, and the country.
الليله شاركنا في حمله النظافه زي ما قلت لك نظفنا القاعه ال105 اللي هي كانت فيها قزاز مكسر وغبار كلها نظفناه ونظفنا الساحه بتاعت القاعه ال122 وشغالين في السيركل بتاع الاداب والواجهه بتاعت الاداب والواجهه بتاعت حجر الدسمس اللي هي الموجوده دي الساحه الكبيره دي شغالين نظافه فوق ان شاء الله.
And still on our global stories, the World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that while besieged Palestinian residents are facing widespread malnutrition and hunger, public health conditions in Gaza are catastrophic, with hospitals operating far beyond capacity. They say that the bed occupancy rate in all hospitals across Gaza has far exceeded capacity, and there remains a severe shortage of essential supplies.
The overall health situation remains catastrophic across the Gaza Strip. Currently, less than 50% of the hospitals and less than 38% of the primary healthcare centers across the Gaza Strip are partially or minimal functional. Also, we've seen a stark reduction in so-called medical points.
It's time now to take a look at what's happening in the world of business.
Got some questions about Showmax? Well, we've got the answers. What is Showmax? Showmax is not a TV channel. It's a streaming service with tons of hit series, movies, and more. Plus, Premier League live on mobile. Just pick what you want and hit play. No schedule or airing times. With Showmax, you watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. For any other queries, find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
Two fans, one game. One of them paid for quality, the other didn't. ZTM Prime now offers premium live Premier Soccer League matches behind a paywall. Skip the stress. Watch your team in high definition, uninterrupted, and in real time. ZTM Prime paywall matches, because real fans watch live.
In our first business story, one of Zimbabwe's major agri-milling and production companies, Edurate Investments, which trades under Zimgold Industries, today broke ground for the construction of a new wheat milling plant. A groundbreaking ceremony for the plant was held at the firm's industrial park in Harare today. And our reporter Sharon Munjenjima has more details.
Before the groundbreaking ceremony commences, the Hindu bosses of Edurate Investments, a sister company of Zimgold Industries, begin by performing rituals to appease the Hindu gods. Edurate Investments head of business Gautam Pradham says the rites are performed to seek the blessing of the gods on the project about to be embarked on.
Let's say if you're getting into a manufacturing, or if you're constructing something, so you always do Bhumi Pujan. It's called Bhumi Pujan. Bhumi means the land, and you pray to the land that we are constructing this, and at the same time we call, by the ritual, we call the god and goddesses, and we offer our prayers and offerings that please come and bless the place, so that whatever we are trying to start should flourish.
The project for which blessings are being sought is the construction of a wheat milling plant that processes 300 tons of the grain per day. This is the company's second wheat milling plant and is expected to boost the company's flour production.
Definitely, flour market is quite a big market in Zimbabwe, and we obviously see some gaps. That's the reason the capex has been taken, and we want to go and produce what is the market looking for.
Officials from the Industry and Commerce Ministry also attended the event. Deputy Director for Light Industry in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Enias Muraji, says government stands ready to support firms that value add on locally available produce.
The company has indicated that they have a $20 million investment, and in terms of capacity utilization, actually for their animal feed plant, it's at 100%. So you'd actually see that there is development, and this company, they are actually doing value addition of our soya and of our maize. And as a ministry, this is what we want. We are actually happy. It actually feeds into our industrial policy documents and also even in our NDS too.
Zimbabwe's wheat yield has been growing steadily over the last few years. A record-breaking harvest of nearly 560,000 metric tons was achieved last year. This figure surpassed another record-breaking harvest from the year 2023 of 468,000 metric tons, which was the best recorded in over 50 years.
By this time next year, if the Hindu gods favor this project, a 300-ton wheat milling plant will be standing right here. But for now, the work begins. Sharon Munjenjema for ZTN News in Harare.
Now, South African Minister of Trade and Industry, Parks Tau, has announced what he described as a clear and decisive response to the 30% tariffs attack by the U.S. on South Africa. The minister hinted at plans to unlock new supply chains in Asia and the Middle East to compensate for the damage of 30% tariffs from the nation's third largest trading partner. However, he noted that efforts will be made to keep the American market open for its goods.
The recent imposition of the 30% unilateral tariffs by the U.S. on our exports is a significant policy shift that necessitates a clear and decisive response. South Africa has accelerated its diversification efforts of export markets and enhanced competitiveness to mitigate the economic impact of losing preferential trade preferential trade access. The diversification is a strategic imperative to ensure better resilience of our economy to economic shocks. This is not a plan B, it is a plan A for long-term resilience and competitiveness. We are committed to strengthening our relationship, particularly under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, to build regional resilience.
Now, the Brazilian coffee sector has been bracing itself for the damage brought by a new round of U.S. tariffs. But amid the turmoil, some see this as an opportunity for companies to get around the potential disruption by targeting new markets elsewhere. Many Brazilian coffee producers and exporters had hoped their precious products would be spared from the U.S. tariff hikes, especially given coffee's weight in American consumer markets. But despite widespread opposition, the 50% tariff imposed by the U.S. on Brazilian products came into force on Wednesday.
Essa grande dependência de único mercado.
Relying heavily on a single market is sometimes very positive. It's easier. You only need to understand one country's regulations, one consumer profile, and optimize production accordingly. That leads to lower costs and more efficiency, but it also creates vulnerability.
This is an opportunity for Brazil to become less dependent, to diversify markets, to add value, as China also has a different perception of the quality of the Brazilian specialty coffees. So it has a good acceptance on this specific niche. So it's a way to add value also to the green coffee beans and also for brands.
And that wraps up what we had for you on the economic landscape. Up next is entertainment. The Heroes and Defense Forces holiday lit up the nation, with music fans spoiled for choice as numerous shows took place across Zimbabwe. From city venues to open-air stages, the holiday was alive with sound, color, and celebration. Here's a review of what took place.
Harare was treated to a night of pure R&B magic as American singer Joe Thomas returned to the city for the first time in 17 years. The Grammy-nominated star delivered a stellar performance, serenading fans with some of his greatest hits, including Good Girls, No One Else, I Believe, and Love Scene. The show drew a mature and appreciative crowd who sang along to every word, proving that Joe's timeless music still strikes a chord.
If you know the song, sing it with me. Paint a picture. Broken glass. I feel. Wanting someone. Come breaking my heart. I need the crowd to sing on this one.
DJ Maporisa lit up Mbare with an electrifying set, keeping fans on their feet and thoroughly entertained. Sungura legend Alec Macheso serenaded fans with his signature hits, setting the perfect tone for the Defence Forces celebrations at the iconic Rufaro Stadium. Macheso shared the stage with the Chillsport family and some Zim dancehall stars. From Sungura to gospel, GT, dancehall, contemporary, and of course, 10 table masters, words came alive last night as several artists shared the stage for the Heroes and Defence Forces Gala. It was a night to remember for merrymakers, with the Chillsport duo Fantan and DJ Levels were among those that brought life to Kujeke Growth Point.
Still on entertainment, though yesteryear actress Rodam Tembe, popularly known as Mai Sorobi, is no more, her legacy will endure forever. This sentiment was evidently shared among the late actress' close relatives at the unveiling of her tombstone at Warren Hills Cemetery in Harare over the weekend. Now, with the tombstone donated by Tendai Mbofana, the owner of Ngoda Granites, the event turned into a grand celebration attended by family members who honored her remarkable status. Now, with August set aside as Heroes Month, Mai Sorobi's family celebrated the departed actress in style at this event, which will remain engraved in the minds of many in attendance. That's it on entertainment, but still to come in sport, Chigumbura Cricket Festival roars to life.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika, like where you are sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje no yemuZimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so Shona kana kuti Chindevere kana mumwe mutauri muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe. Ndiwo rupawo rwako. Ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
Didn't graduate. I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
The third edition of the Elton Chigumbura 2020 Cricket Championship got underway in the capital with over 10 under 10 to under 19 to under 16 teams taking part in the tournament. Tournament director Diane Patel is delighted by the increased passion displayed by the players towards the game.
Well,
The passion for cricket is growing, and I think the most important thing is having this tournament, which is our 3rd year in a row now, contributes to development of the kids. If you see the kids from beginning till what they are now, you see the growth, the passion and the dedication that our boys have brought forward through to us. Like I said, the passion, the dedication, we have a lot more teams that have joined us, so that means cricket is getting bigger and bigger. Also, if you look at our boys, there's not much for them to do out, and we rather show them that with cricket there is a future in sport.
Now, Elton Chikumbura Cricket Academy coach Asbury Marange believes the tournament gives coaches a chance to assess their players and is excited to see a number of players graduate and play at the top.
This tournament is of vast importance to us, the coaches, also to the parents and also to the younger players. To the coaches, it's good for us because it helps us have more of a progress check to see where we've reached with the players so far, what we've been working on, and how far these guys have actually taken in. And also to the players, it's also good for them because this is a platform to showcase also what they have, what they've done, what they've learned, and what they can do. You might have heard, we already have juniors who are actually breaking through into the senior leagues. We have Webster Madidi, who plays for under 16, is actually playing there right now. He's now in the under 19s, under 19s team. He's also playing in the NPL, playing for Chakashinga too. And we have other youngsters. We have Mike Chakoza and Chakunda Garwe, who are also in the Harare provincial teams. We have Faiz Banu, he's an under 15. He's also now playing for the Eagles provincial team. So that is also good, giving them a platform and also injecting players into the National League. That's one of the aims of this tournament.
Now, the Zimbabwe Football Association has come up with a selection strategy for the under-17 boys team that will take part in this year's edition of the COSAFA Under-17 tournament set for the capital next month. The association has appointed Tulani Svanda, Backlyfield Chivenga, Norman Tarubinga and Jatson Mapotsa to spearhead the selection process countrywide and will conduct a nationwide tour from the 18th to the 20th of August, assessing players. And still on sport, Takuzo Chikosi's abilities as a player have never been in doubt, with the goalkeeper putting in many eye-catching performances during his time at Herentals. However, an unfortunate series of injuries saw him confront his worst career hurdle and left him questioning his own abilities. He needed to reset his career and confidence, and it came in the form of a mid-season move to Triangle United. We get more in the following report.
There are moments in a footballer's life when the noise fades, when the spotlight moves on, and all you're left with is silence. For Triangle United goalkeeper Takuzo Chikosi, that silence became a place of prayer that opened a new chapter in his footballing career. The change of environment and support from his football family, both at Rentals and Triangle, as well as close friends, sparked the fire once more. Now enjoying his game once more, Chikosi also reflects on the nightmare of losing his spot at Rentals and how the faith and prayers of his spiritual mentor, Prophet Tinashe, helped him find his feet and belief once more.
Firstly, ndautenda Mwari. Pasina Mwari hadaendeseri kuita zvakuita. Ari kundirwira zuva nezuva. Even ndiri koko on and off the field zvese bro ari kundichengetedza. Ndautenda Prophet wangu Prophet Tinashe. Akuchitumbisa pagomo remanzi. Pasina iwo pasina maprayers awa. Dai ndofunga pandakabva kuRentals dai ndaatauni izvo atione kundisimbisa kwawakaita zvinhu zvekutoenda namata kwakosha pozina Mwari aumbofa waita ndakatombodoita down but pasino vanhu vekumba nemaprayers ndichipfugamawo naprofet wangu vakazoramba vachingondisimbisa ndatongorambawo ndakangomirawo semurume.
Chikosi has had an instant impact at Gibbo Stadium and hopes to repay the faith from Triangle United by helping the team avoid relegation.
In pandakatosvika ndichitobva kumba kana madam yangu aitoti uri kuenda timu ida kubuda uchashatise zita rapanhangu zvese ndangosama vantu toona zviri kuendeka titabuda murelegation zone but still tichirungofaita kusvikira tapa ndakakurumidza kuvatijasi plus nematauriro andakaitawo nevanhu vachona nakochi nonditembawo akangonditora indoka ndangodzoro trust yakandipo ndaidzorowa sezvo muri kuti watautongofaita tichitoenda.
For Takudzwa Chikosi, the chance to play and enjoy the game once more feels a bigger win than the result, and is hoping to reclaim his position as a safe pair of hands. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Tawanda Muntali.
And that wraps up our Wednesday evening bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Have a good night.